moderator asked the question, do you believe in mandatory trash collection? Do you want to reduce illegal dumping? If you're not in favor of mandatory trash collection, how are you going to reduce illegal dumping?
We're down to our final question. Charlotte, you'll handle it first. Do you think the city should establish mandatory trash collection? And how can the city reduce or eliminate illegal dumping?
We had actually got this same promise the last city council election. Chris Nickel was supposed to get a free trash drop-off center, and so far he has not done that. In order to get a grant from the feds or the state, they're going to change it to where now you have to pay to drop stuff off. So they're not doing a service. We need a free place where people can drop it off. Josh Brunn's actually come up with an incredible idea where the recycling center pays for your stuff. So they want you to drop it off because then they can convert it to reusable, renewable stuff. So they're paying for your crap. That's what one solution is. That's better than all these solutions.
But I'm kind of on the fence with that just because I know people that are in that industry, and I would hate to take local business owners out of business with that. So honestly, that's something that I would probably leave up to my voters.
Aisha Jiren, she starts off that she's researching the subject, so she had absolutely nothing to say about it.
Aisha.
Well, this is a touchy subject because, you know, we also want our city to stay clean and in our community to be clean and free of trash and debris. I am in the process of researching this a little bit in depth, so at this point I'm not going to make any comments on it at this point. Thank you.
Okay.
And the people in the no category was Charlotte Perez, Mark Aliff, Kevin Cover, Joe Latino, and Jason Muniz.
To potentially partner up and maybe have some city drop-off centers for people with large items that we could work that out. But more importantly, I believe in recycling. I was endorsed by the Sierra Club, proudly, thank you. And I think that recycling, there's a huge opportunity there that we can capture. We can build a center. Perhaps we can get Petco involved to recycle things and send that money, get money in from that. And that's the short answer. Thank you.
And then Dennis Flores was the lone person who was in favor of mandatory trash collection.
Okay. Dennis?
This thing needs to be studied, and the reason it does, and I've done a lot of research on this, we do not want to land up with a monopoly of, waste management or waste connection. My whole approach to mandatory trash is to get all of the small business people that are in the trash business together, and I think we can come up with a solution. What I don't want to see is all of the local businesses that are in the trash business get hurt and be driven out of business by having a mandatory trash system where only the big guys get to play. So fundamentally, and I've talked to several small businesses that are in the trash business, and they're all for getting together as long as the allocation of the additional services to families in the community are equally distributed. I think we can come up with a solution. There's many things that are mandatory in our society, and mandating trash service is very important for the public safety and the public health of the community.
Right now we don't have municipal trash. Right now we have 3 or 4 private companies who go around driving all over the place and get in the trash. So you have 3 private companies. We do not have a municipal trash service as of right now. Dennis Flores, he is in favor of mandatory trash collection for public safety and the public health of the community. He wants to get all the local businesses together, so he's not for shutting the local businesses down. He's actually talked to all of them, and he says as long as they're getting fairly treated, as long as they're being treated equally, and they're being involved in this mandatory trash collection, they're all in favor with it. So some of the folks were sitting there saying that they wanted to protect the locals, the local business, but Dennis Flores, he says that all the local businesses are going to be a part of this thing, and so they won't be excluded. If anything, they might actually make money. They might make some bank on this. They might get bought out, or they might provide a service that the government isn't able to provide. So that's 5 of the at-large 7. 5 of the at-large 7 that have said no to mandatory trash collection. 1, yes, Dennis Flores, and then 1, I don't know, Aisha Yerin. The reasons why the people who voted no were as follows. So Charlotte Perez, she says she wants to protect the current 3 private trash companies, and then if they wanted to turn it into a municipal trash, if they wanted to have mandatory trash, that's a question whether or not you wanted mandatory trash. She would ask the voters on that, but right now she was against it because she wanted to protect the 3 current private trash companies. Now, Mark Aliff, he's all about free enterprise, but he also says we need to shut Black Hills down. So when we shut Black Hills down, well, we're going to need to come up with different ideas and different suggestions. We've got to do something. And so actually Mark Aliff suggested getting a municipal electric company. So Mark Aliff was against the mandatory trash collection, but he was for a municipal electric company because he was in favor of trash incinerators. Right now we got trash incinerators in Gypsum, Grand Junction, and in Denver. And they're actually taking human feces. They're taking human shit and turning it into electricity. What are you doing with your human shit? You're probably just wasting your human shit. You're probably just flushing your human shit down the toilet, and then it's just going into a landfill, and then all that methane is getting out into the atmosphere. 21% methane is a higher carbon, a higher global warmer than carbon dioxide by 21%. Methane is worse than carbon dioxide, and that's what big landfill is doing right now. So whereas he's against mandatory trash collection, and actually I am too, I just think that the government should have a hand in the market. And so he's not talking about municipal trash, he's talking about municipal electric, and the reason why he points that out, because if we get trash incinerators, so when we close Black Hills down, which is a good thing, so Mark Aliff is a conservative who's against Black Hills. That's a good thing. Then once Black Hills is shut down, we're going to start our own municipal electric company like Cleveland and a lot of cities do. And when we get our own municipal electric company, he's going to look into trash incinerators like they're doing in Gypsum, Grand Junction, and Denver, where they're taking our trash and our waste and turning it into energy and electricity. So trash incinerators are also known as waste-to-electric facilities. So that was awesome. That was awesome that Mark Aliff had mentioned trash incinerators, because that's a major platform plank for the citizens for a green Pueblo. So Mark Aliff got a huge check mark on that front, because he mentioned the trash incinerator, turning our waste to electricity. Right now nobody's even talking about this, and this is just common sense. Common sense. What are you doing with your shit? You're just flushing your shit down the toilet? You're being wasteful. You just want to protect your small business buddy, and you're just going to waste all this electricity. You're going to waste all the shit and all the trash. We could turn all that stuff, instead of taking it out into the landfill, which is just ruining our groundwater and creating lots of methane, instead of just ruining, our groundwater and just going ahead and accelerating the global warming process. Why don't we take our trash, incinerate it, get 87% of the trash absolutely wiped out there. It's wiped out. It's gone. We have no trash to speak of. You don't need to bury it anywhere, because we've gotten rid of it, and the incinerator does something with the steam and turns a generator and creates electricity. So we could get rid of our trash and make electricity out of it. Win-win. The only people that would be against it are the ones who are in favor of methane and who are in favor of big landfill.
As far as the trash problem goes, I saw we have a very interesting opportunity ahead of us. We're in the process where City Council is going to look at getting rid of Black Hills Energy, starting maybe a municipal electric company. Maybe we look at trash incinerators, where we pick up that trash, we burn it for electricity. Heck, we may even pay the people to bring us their trash. You never know.
Woo!
It's an alternative that we need to look at. And if I'm on City Council, it's ideas and visions like that I want to look at, and I want to make sure that everybody has to say so.
So Joe Latino, he said he was against a conglomerate, so he's no to big government trash, but yes to big landfill, and yes to methane. So while they mentioned with the mandatory trash collection, I am against mandatory trash collection. I think that the municipal trash should be a player on the scene, but they shouldn't take over all those businesses. So I think Dennis Flores goes one step too far, and I don't think any of these other candidates go far enough, except for Mark Aliff. So out of those questions, Dennis Flores was the second best answer, and Mark Aliff, he mentioned municipal electricity. Municipal electricity. I mean, we're already talking about municipal internet. Why not get municipal electric and municipal trash? So the trash incinerator will be part of the municipal electric company, so that'll be something that the current local businesses can sell their trash to. Instead of dumping it out to a landfill, now they sell their trash to the municipal electric company. The municipal electric company buys that trash and turns it into electricity. I mean, that's a possibility right there. Gypsum Grand Junction in Denver, they're already doing this. They've already been doing this for 20 to 30. You know, they're using human shit to fuel up their cars and their big trucks. So their big machinery, the fleet trucks, are being run by the electricity from incinerating human waste or whatever the process is. So they're taking human shit, they're taking all kinds of trash. It's reuse, recycle, right? Reuse, reduce, recycle, and then recover. And that's what the trash incinerator does. It recovers all that energy instead of just wasting all that energy. So we need to save our energy, and right now we're not saving our energy. Kevin Cover, give a quick and painless answer, nope. And we got bigger fish to fry. And then Jason Muniz also had a conservative position. He was all about free enterprise. He mentioned a recycling center, but essentially they said no to mandatory trash collection. Charlotte, Mark, Kevin, Joe, and Jason. Dennis Flores said yes to mandatory trash collection. Aisha Urin didn't have anything to say about it whatsoever. The best answer was Mark Aliff. He's against mandatory trash collection, but he wants to get a municipal electric company started, and he wants to buy that trash from the local businesses. Buy that trash from the local businesses, and even buy the shit. I think we should turn the wastewater department and turn that into the trash incinerator, the waste to electric, because what are they doing with our shit anyways? We already got a wastewater department, so we flush our toilets, and then that goes to where? To what place? And then what happens to the shit now? Is it just getting thrown in a landfill? That's my guess. I'm going to do more research on this tomorrow, but my guess is that it's not being turned into electricity. I definitely know that. And so my guess is it's just being thrown out into the landfill the same as all the other trash. So all the other garbage is being buried, and they're also taking our shit, and that's why there's so much methane that's just being produced. And then that's increasing global warming. That's why we got all these hurricanes. That Mother Nature is pissed. Mother Nature is pissed. So we need to stop throwing all of our damn garbage into the damn ground and letting all that methane, ruining our planet. We don't need to ruin our planet anymore. And then why would we defend big landfill? We can actually, Dennis Flores and Mark Aliff both have plans where we could get the local businesses involved in, either municipal electric or having one, conglomerate, Waste Connections, just having one company take it all. So Dennis Flores wants, one company. Mark Aliff is essentially saying, let's get municipal electric because that's the only way we're going to replace Black Hills. And while we have this municipal electric company, he'll go ahead and start this trash incinerator program, the waste to energy program that they're doing in Gypsum Grand Junction in Denver, and he's going to turn your trash into electricity. So what the hell is the trash just doing there? Anyways, it's just sitting there, right? Putting methane out into the air, ruining your groundwater. So instead of just it sitting there and giving no purpose to anybody whatsoever, he's going to put it into an incinerator and turn it into electricity. We got to get, by 2035, we got to get off of fossil fuels. By 2035, 100% clean and renewable energy. This is a way to take care of our trash problem. This is a way to help out with our electricity problems. It's genius. Mark Aliff wins on that question. So I want to review the street repair tax. Mark Aliff was against it because he said that $4.5 million are already coming into Pueblo from the state highway funds, and then we got that $9 million surplus that's expected from Pueblo City's government. He says just use that $4.5 million and then $9 million for the police and the roads. Perez also mentioned that Ted Freeland and her passed out a petition to use the existing 1.5-cent sales tax for street repairs. So both of them are essentially saying that we have both. We got both. So Sean Perez is also saying that we got money in the coffers. Kevin Cover's all about being laissez-faire, casino, free market capitalism, so just wheel them and deal them, right? So the more businesses we get in, more tax base, and that's how we're going to build the streets. By bringing in more businesses, the more businesses that come in, then that they'll, give more of a tax base, and then we could use that tax base for the street repairs. And then Aisha Urin, she says yes. Dennis Flores says yes. And then Jason Muniz also says yes. $1 per household. is very inexpensive. Aisha Yerin, Dennis Flores, and Jason Muniz are all right when it comes to the street repair tax. Vote yes on 2C. Vote yes. When it comes to ballot question 2B, this is the question for the police. This is $18 million over 5 years for 24 cops, and Sam Azad, the city manager, is going to be entrusted with hiring those new cops. So 24 brand new establishment cops picked by Sam Azad. He's going to be the one that hires these 24 new cops, $18 million over 5 years versus 300. That was the question. Did you want one or the other? Most people didn't mention one or the other, so I'll just mention the ones who are in favor of 2B. 6 of them were in favor of 2B, and one of them was not. Mark Aliff stood in splendid isolation against this tax because he's anti-tax. So right now we got 4 ballot measures on the ballot that's for raising our taxes. Mark Aliff is a consistent conservative. He doesn't want our taxes to be raised, absolutely not whatsoever. So he's against all the ballot measures too. So he's a conservative, right? The first response should be no, I don't want to do that. So Mark Aliff is not for 2B. Mark Aliff hopes that 2B is not 2B. He already thinks that there's money in the pipeline. Same thing with the streets. Now, Joe Latino, Jason Muniz, Charlotte Perez, Kevin Cover, Couvert, Dennis Flores, and Aisha Yerin, they're all in favor of 2B, 24 cops, the establishment cops, throwing all these 24 establishment cops into the current paradigm, which Sam Azad, the city manager, is going to be the one who hires them. All those 6 were in favor of it. Mark Aliff said he was against it because he's against taxes, so he's probably also against 300. In fact, you can infer from this that every one of them are against 300. Every single one of the at-large 7 candidates are opposed to 300. Now, 300 is a $35 million tax over 5 years, and it's an Oakland model. It's an Oakland boondoggle. This is an Oakland spruce goose. I don't want the culture of Oakland here, and they're trying to put Oakland on top of us. Vote no to 300, vote no on 300, and vote no for Pueblo City to become Oakland. We don't want to become like any other city. Pueblo City just wants to be the best that Pueblo City can be. When it came to the homelessness, Joe Latino didn't have any ideas, but the homelessness question frustrates him a lot. And so he said he'd be willing to work with other people. He'd be willing to work with other people. So does he have the will to solve the homelessness problem? It seemed like he was frustrated with how they annoyed people that have homes, but then he also seemed, somewhat concerned, somewhat empathetic, just like Kevin Cover seemed empathetic because he said he wouldn't turn his back on the homeless. And I'm glad he said it. What's their true blue feelings? I don't know, but they said it. So that's the first start, right? We're not guaranteed to get a promise, but at least we got, Kevin Cover promising us something. So if he gets into office and then just turns his back on the homeless, well, then you know exactly what kind of person he is. But right now, Kevin Cover is empathetic when it comes to the homeless. Jason Muniz, Charlotte Perez, Dennis Flores, and kind of Joe Latino. Absolutely. Mark Aliff and Aisha Yerin, they said, no way. We don't give a damn about the homeless. We're going to pass more laws. We're going to do sweeps. We're going to make sure they're not loitering. They're not sleeping in private or in public property. Nowhere. They're not allowed to sleep anywhere. They're going to get arrested for, loitering and sleeping. And, that's the 1,000 homeless children in Pueblo City. And neither one of them are going to do anything about the 1,000 homeless children in Pueblo City. Mark Aliff says it's a principle thing because they're not supposed to help with social programs. So he doesn't believe that government should give, handouts. So he doesn't believe that the government should build 1,000 cheap homes for these homeless kids. And Aisha Yerin, I think she's a marijuana business owner, so she just hates the homeless who ask for change from her customers, so she just wants to sweep that off to the side. It's more of a blight. It's more about PR for them. So if they could push the homeless off to the side somewhere, that's what they want to do. They don't want to actually solve the homelessness problem, and I got a big issue with that. So that's a big thorn in my side when it comes to Mark Aliff. Aisha Yerin, I don't think she's the right person at the right time. Now, the other ones, the Dennis Flores, he's for nonprofits. He didn't mention the shelter. So Perez pointed out that there was no homeless shelter. Jason Muniz says we need one. So Jason Muniz is the number one. He's top. He said the right thing. He says he gives a damn. He understands the problems that we have, but we need to give a damn, and we need to have a homeless shelter. So Jason Muniz has the best position out of all those. Perez, Latino, Cover, and Flores all seem to be empathetic. They all were empathetic, but Kevin Cover, he said he wouldn't turn his back on the homeless, and that's the first liberal thing that I've heard him say the entire time. So he said it, so I believe that he believes it, but I wonder how big is his political will to stop it. With Joe Latino, I have no idea what he even stands for. I think he does kind of care this way and that way, but it's hard to sort of pin him down on any policy, specific policy. So I'll just give it to the top four, okay? Dennis Flores, Jason Muniz, Charlotte Perez, Kevin Couvert. They're the best, and I would say that the homeless shelter is the best idea, and then I would also say that supporting the nonprofits, of course, that's that's what they're doing right now. So keep on supporting the nonprofits, but the nonprofits are not solving the thing, and so that's why Jason Muniz, I think, has the best answer for the homelessness question out there, because he was actually for a shelter. They have no home. Get them a home, okay? That's the problem. So solve the problem, and I think homelessness is an indictment against society. Society, you don't give a damn. They have no home. Get them a home. Get them a home, and that will at least get them a decent start. That'll stop their weather problems. They won't have problems with the weather now. Now they might be able to keep their clothes and their papers dry. Maybe they'll actually have a permanent location to where they can start getting mail and doing their taxes and getting their paperwork and doing all their having security, right, with their stuff. They're out in shopping carts right now. Anybody could rob the shopping cart. Another homeless person, right, Abercrombie and Fitch, going around just messing with homeless because it's funny to them. And so that puts them in a very vulnerable and desperate position, and that's where they stay, and that's ridiculous. That's not fair, and that's not going to help anybody. We're going to build $315 million jail. We're going to get $315 million jail. $315 million. Have you ever heard about that much money in your life? $315 million over 30 years? $315 million, and that's what they're going to do with the homeless. Just fill that jail up with all the homeless that the eyes can see. The jails are torturing people. The jails people have gone into jail and they haven't came back out, so they're dying. And there's lots of petty and nonviolent criminals in those jails. So that means they've already overfilled the jail with bullshit, petty bullshit, and they're going to continue to fill the jail with petty bullshit. So the problem isn't going to be fixed by a bunch of money being thrown at these politicians. And it's a county jail. They don't care about the city. We're talking about sending our shoplifters all the way up into Douglas County. So is the county even going to let the city use the damn jail? So we're going to spend $315 million, and the county's still going to treat this city like dicks, and they're not going to let us use the jail. So just getting a big facility where we could, and it's right next to the judicial system. It's sitting on top of all those businesses. You're going to have to eminent domain all those businesses, take all those businesses, buy them out. So is that what this is about? Did one of those businesses start that because they want to sell their property? They were kind of tired of, having to deal with all the sales or whatever. So they want to get their retirement check. So just put a big prison. There was 2 locations. It should be out in the countryside. So that would be cheaper. Why would you sit there and put it right next to the maze? It's going to be a ministry of love. So I'm absolutely 100% against the jail. $315 million, just give me 33% of 1%. Give me 0.3% of that. Give me $1 million. Give me $1 million out of that 315. Actually, give me $2 million. Give me $2 million out of that $315 million that's going to be going to the jail, and I would take $1 million to clean up the jail that we got now. Now it's rehabbed. Now we'll keep only the most hardened criminals or whatever in there, and then the other ones, we're going to start rehabilitating them through Norway's prison system. So we're going to do the prison system like Norway, and then we're also going to have a treatment facility. So we're going to have treatment facilities. We're going to do it like Norway. So, we're actually going to rehabilitate them. We're not going to go for the nonviolent offenders. We're not going to go for the petty homelessness. We're going to try to actually cure the homelessness problem. So that's the other $1 million. The first $1 million is to rehab the old rehab the old jail, and the other $1 million is to solve the homelessness situation. It solves it. It solves it for the long term. For the long term, you get them homes, and you get them houses, and then you try to get jobs, and you try to get them back on their feet, right? It's a capitalist society, and it's dog eat dog, and there's no safety net. So there's no safety net. They need to know that, and so we need to give a little bit of a safety net but we also need to, try to get them to where they can make some money somehow, figure out a way to make some money, start a business, do a, YouTube show, but if nobody watches you, you're not going to make any money that way. I was very impressed with Jason Muniz's answer. I was very disappointed with Mark Aliff and Aisha Jiren, and Charlotte Perez, Kevin Cover, Dennis Flores, and Joe Latino all were empathetic towards the homeless. So that's the summary for the homelessness question. And then the last thing, this is their closing statements. Without further ado.
We'll now have closing remarks from each one of the candidates in 2 minutes to wrap things up. We're going to go in reverse order that we began with, so Charlotte, you'll begin.
Oh, I want it to be last. So, I just want everybody to know that, again, I am not a politician. I am a proud public servant. The reason why I'm successful is not because I'm smart, but because I've never quit. So I want you guys to know that I've been doing it for 15 years. I'm the one that's out there. The number one thing is for us to all be registered to vote. And I'm the one that's out there ensuring that we're all being involved. That's one of the hardest jobs in the city. So I want you guys to know that I'm a protector, I'm a fighter, I'm a go-getter. I'm happily divorced, and I dedicate the rest of my life to making a difference. I'm out there praying with the community, in their churches. I have a Pueblo prayer circle at the Bessemer Park. In car accidents and other incidents. I also am working with everybody in the community that nobody else wants to. I'm also attending the city council meetings. And right now, in response to the transits, I'm actually working with the police department right now, trying to get them outside of the storefronts. I'm trying to let them know that the elderly people don't feel safe, and that I don't want the younger kids seeing that. I'm asking them to please hold on and please be patient, that I am trying to do whatever I can for them. And again, it's the way I talk to them, because they see me out here, they listen to me. And so they're on board with it. Same thing with the gang members and all the other people that are causing troubles and stuff like that in the community. Those are the ones that I can talk to. And I just want to be able to enlighten them and encourage them to be better. The change is here and the time is now. And please vote Charlotte Perez. Thank you.
Jason?
Thank you, Steve. Thank you again for the opportunity to share my vision for Pueblo. Thanks again to the audience members here, everyone watching at home, and especially thank you to my fellow candidates here. I'm honored to have so many quality individuals who want to take the bull by the horns and do what they can to improve Pueblo. Folks, I hope to earn your vote because, for one, I want to be proactive and not reactive. I'm running because we need new leadership in Pueblo to bring about positive outcomes. Looking at the future, I see a vision of a Pueblo renaissance that ushers in a new chapter for economic growth and community empowerment. Let's convert Pueblo into a 100% Wi-Fi zone. Let's attain 100% renewable energy. Let's utilize empty buildings as community centers. Let's transform Towers 5 and 6 into a battery storage for solar energy. Let's support our police and fire departments, making sure they have what they need to service best. Let's improve or create conditions that support local businesses. Let's embrace industries like technology and green energy jobs to bring new life into the city. Let's be an effective and efficient government body that serves the needs of the public. Elections matter. Do you want to seek progress, or do you want more of the same? A vote for me is a vote for a better future for Pueblo. Pueblo. I was educated here. I performed theater with Impossible Players and Still City Theater Company, and I sang with the chamber choir at the university. I played lacrosse with the CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves and served as the mascot when football first returned to Pueblo in 2008. I have over 20 years of experience working directly with the public and I look forward to continuing that work experience as a city council member. Your ballots are either in your mailbox or on its way today. Please fill it out, and please vote for Jason Munoz, because we are Pueblo proud and we are Pueblo strong. Thank you.
Joe?
Thank you. Thank you to the chieftain, and thank you to Pueblo Community College again, and to the audience for taking the time to come and hear what it is that we have to say with regard to the issues that concern you and us as a community. I'm honored to have the opportunity to do this. Would I be honored to have your vote? Absolutely. What can I do? Well, we need to understand that it's a 7-member council, and this is an important year because there happens to be 4 positions available. The magic number is 4, folks. I can promise you the world, but if I'm only going to 3, it isn't going to. You're not going to have the world. Okay? We know that we have problems. By the way, in terms of the homeless, they have a program in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where they're taking the people off the street and they're putting to work to do the kinds of things that we're talking about: pick up trash, clean up the streets, clean up the areas in the community, and then they take them to payroll and they pay them. Okay? Then they give them an opportunity then to earn a living and to at least feel decent about things. That's a good way of doing it. So we need to be creative. We need to understand what's going on in other places in this country that they're having success. There's a place in Ohio that they're talking about, and they have a program that has to do with recycling and trash. Same thing as I just proposed that they're doing in Albuquerque, except in a different manner. So there's all kinds of things that can happen out there, but in order for any of us to do anything, you have to have 4 votes. Okay? Again, I can promise you the world that it's not going to happen. I'm part of the Pillars of Unity. In the last 2 years, we've had 2 summits. With this past year with the community college, with both school districts, and we brought in nationally known speakers to deal with crime and what's going on in our community. Frank Kansas from Columbine High School, and Shannon Watts, who was with Moms Demand Action, a national group of women who basically are not against the Second Amendment rights, but want gun sense. So we got some things going on here, and I'm involved in those things. Please consider me as a candidate, and that I might have your vote. Thank you.
Well, thank you again for giving me the opportunity to speak to you and get my points across. Like I said, public safety is number 1. Jobs are number 2. We cannot evolve and move forward as a city if our city isn't safe. Now, I know that there are other problems in our city, huge problems, but it takes time, it takes energy, it takes organization and new leaders and new ideas to make those changes. These changes aren't going to come just from me. These changes are going to come from the community. It's also very important that we repair the relationship with the community and city council. Let's gain their trust back. Let's be transparent. Let's let the community know what our plans are to move forward in the city. We need the city to unite and to move forward. And like I said, it doesn't take me, it takes leaders after me to implement and keep pushing forward to protect our city and to grow. I would love to sit with anybody who has solutions and to progress within the community. So please just vote Aisha Giron. Thank you.
Yes?
Thank you again for this opportunity. To the voters, you have my commitment to always be a champion for Pueblo. My priorities will always include being a deliberate student in making decisions for the citizens of this great city. Making sure that the powers to the north of us don't forget about us, and that we remind them constantly that we're part of Colorado. Showcasing our community that we have so many more amenities than other bedroom communities up north. Our cost of living, less traffic, more sunny days, strong work ethic. I will never allow anyone to look down on our community. I'm Pueblo through and through. This is a special time in the evolution of our city. I believe that this election is pivotal to the future of our city. We may have a mayoral type of government depending on the outcome of this election. We do not have the luxury of job training at this stage. We need a proven leader, someone that can take the complex issue facing the city. And I'm that person. You will note that many of the ideas that came out of this election, such as improving our roads, fixing our infrastructure, balancing our budget, improving our facilities, I have already have a proven record of accomplishing those things. I currently work on a budget that's $1.2 billion on the Board of Governors. And I've worked on the city budget, I've worked on the District 60 budget. So I have a complete handle on what I can do in that area. To the public and to the audience here, I would appreciate your vote, Dennis Flores, and always promising you that I'll do my best for the community.
Kevin?
Thank you all for coming out. Now, I don't mean any disrespect to anyone with more experience than me or someone that may be more polished than me, everyone else on this table. So, that said, I don't think that government is always about who has the most years. I certainly don't believe that it's about suits and ties and fancy political speak. I don't believe that it's about what's best for me or my career. It's about the people. It's about the greater good of Pueblo. When you see my sign, remember that Passion for Pueblo is not just a political slogan. It's a battle cry for those of us that believe Pueblo can be more. Thank you.
Mark?
Thank you, Steve, and thank you all for coming out tonight. Your support for all of the candidates up here is fantastic. Thank you to the candidates for a wonderful campaign and a wonderful evening. I think tonight has shown that we all want exactly the same thing. We all have the same priorities. The difference is how we're going to come about those changes. If you believe that unending ballot initiatives for tax increases to fund the police department, if you think unending ballot initiatives to pave our streets and to keep our infrastructure in proper working order is the way to go, then don't vote for me, because that's not going to happen when I become city councilman. When I become city councilman, the priority will be managing the budget that has all the money necessary to fund our essential services. We make essential services first, non-essential services second. Not one dime is spent on a non-essential until the essentials are taken care of. I hope that I was able to articulate that message to you in this short time. I'm always available. You can call me, flag me down, stop me out here, and I'll be glad to elaborate on anything that I've said tonight. This is a pivotal election. And I believe that the choice you make tonight, or when you get home on your ballot, is going to determine how the next 4 years go. And if you want a strong voice, if you've been waiting for that strong voice, that guy that gets up on city council and says, enough is enough, then I'm the guy. And I hope that you can support that. Thank you.